Hear a knock on the door.
Good morning, Chattanooga. This is Real Estate Today with Cindi and Jody. My name is Jack Fennell here with your hosts, Cindy Richardson and Jody Gatlin with the Richardson Group, KW Cleveland. The Richardson Group, KW Cleveland, over 20 years of experience serving Southeast Tennessee and the home of the Offers Instantly program. If you need to sell your home and you want a guaranteed offer within 24 hours, go online to offersinstantly.com for more details. Each Keller Williams office is independently owned and operated. Guys, we're here to talk real estate with you this morning and answer any questions that you have about buying, selling, or investing. Call or text the Talk Radio 1023 studio at 267-1023. You can also always ask questions through the Facebook Live video on the Richardson Group Facebook page. But we're on the air for an hour this morning. We would love to talk to you guys this morning. Give us a call, 267-1023, or if we happen to not be on the air, call our office, 790-7979. We'd love to get to talk to you there. Good morning, ladies. How are y'all doing today?
Good. How are you?
Hanging in here.
We're doing well.
Missed you guys last week.
It turned winter again today. We had.
I want to know who Mother Nature has peed off,
or
who's peed her off, because it is not. It's ridiculous.
Jesse says it's him.
It was Jesse. It's all Jesse's fault.
Mother Nature has not been nice.
So freaking cold.
Well, like just driving here today, I think Jack and I were watching it on the car, and it dropped 10 degrees.
Well, you know, we
coming up
laughed,
here to the
we
radio
laughed at work
station
yesterday. Of course, the heat in my car is out.
Oh.
So, you know, I looked like an Eskimo this morning. I probably have hypothermia, but, you know, whatever. You do what you got to do, right?
Yeah, I got excited. I hit one of the red lights on the way here, and all of a sudden sleet started hitting the car. And I'm like, yes, we're going to have Snowmageddon 3.
Yeah, yesterday.
And then, of course, I drove a quarter of a mile, and then it quit raining completely. So,
And I had a day, I don't know about you guys, but, you know, yesterday and the day before where I was literally out in it all day long. We laugh if it's going to be bad weather, you're going to have to, you know, be out showing new construction with no heat and air. It's typically the way it works.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like our spring market's kicking in. I don't think there's been a day that I've actually, I feel like I get to the office and then I look up and it's 6 o'clock.
Yeah. What is it they say? You can't complain when you have a lot on your plate when the goal was to eat. You know, we've been talking about how we need inventory for so long, and it is crazy good right now.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of crazy good, how are you guys hearing the market is going?
I'm hearing the market, the inventory is picking up in what we're seeing in the numbers, but we're also seeing a big turnaround of they're going right under contract just as fast as they come on the market.
Absolutely, still seeing that, and pricing. You know, people are still getting above ask. You know, if you're strategic with that pricing, like we've talked about before, it's still definitely super healthy market if you're thinking about selling.
Right. I think it's slowed down a little bit. I think where before, especially if you had a home that was priced under $300,000, you would get, you know, multiple offers. I mean, you might even get, the most I have gotten on one is probably around 10. I think that has slowed down a little where you might see 2 or 3. But it's still, by all means, it's still a healthy market.
It absolutely cracks me up when we talk like that, though, because we've been so spoiled that, you know, now we're like, it might take 5 days before we get multiple offers.
Right.
Which that is crazy to think that we're still that good. But even with some interest rate increases and changes to financing and that sort, we're still, I mean, I had one, I think, yesterday that I had five offers on over 700,000. So even in that price range, we're still seeing a lot of activity. Very, very low inventory. And like Jack said, we're doing all we can and seeing some increases, but they're going as fast as we're getting them. So if you're thinking about it, call us.
Yeah.
We can help you.
And just make sure you're putting your best foot forward, especially if you know there's multiple offers. Now, an agent can't tell you there's multiple offers if there's not multiple offers. That would be a violation of our code of ethics. But if you know you're getting into a multiple bid situation, make sure and put out there what you're willing to pay for a home, because you may not get a second chance. And make sure that your agent is working in your best interest, because there are a lot of things that you can do. It's not always about money, too. A lot of times it might be about convenience. It just depends on your seller and what their motivation level is Sometimes if you let a seller stay a little bit after closing, give them a week or two or even a few days, that can give you a huge advantage because convenience is worth money, especially at a certain point in your life.
And a lot can be said for a simple phone call. If another agent just reaches out to us on the front end and says what's
to find out what's
to your
important.
seller, then, and Cindi and I both in the last 3 days have had multiple offer situations where it came down to 2, and the agent that didn't win said, well, we would have gone higher. Well, if you're up against other offers, really and truly put your best foot forward. I mean, wouldn't you say so, Jack, when it comes to winning offers?
Yeah, I agree. Even if you're depending on the price range, you pretty much know you're going against multiple offers. If you're having trouble scheduling a showing to get in and actually look at the home, you kind of automatically know there are going to be a lot of other people interested. So go ahead and put that best foot forward out. I mean, we're starting to see some numbers where we can moderately track how much homes are going over list price to an extent. It's still math, which isn't one of my best strong suits, but
and don't be afraid to be a backup. I know you're showing one today to potentially be a backup. Cindi, what's that statistic?
Right now, 20%. So you have a 20% chance of getting that 1 out of 5 that you will get the backup. And on the one that I had multiple offers on, the primary contract did terminate, and we have already accepted the backup contract, and it prevents you from getting back into multiple bids. So if that primary contract begins to get cold feet, because there's a whole lot of reasons that you can get out of a contract in the beginning. So if that primary contract starts to regret their decision, then being a first position backup is a good place to be. And like I said, 1 out of 5 times you are going to become the primary contract, and then you don't have to go through that multiple bid again.
And just a couple housekeeping notes. You want to make sure that backup is in writing, so it's legally binding. But the way that works from a buyer standpoint is if you find something else, if you continue to look and you find something else and you'd rather move forward on that, all you have to do is give the seller written notice that you want
written
to
notification
remove,
anytime prior to being notified that you are the primary
So there's
buyer.
really zero risk to you as the buyer. Why wouldn't you be the backup?
And it's a good thing to at least stick in there through an inspection period if that primary buyer is doing an inspection, because there is a new clause in Tennessee contracts giving a third option on inspections, which is a take it or leave it option. So it gives them the right to do the inspection, and then they can take it or leave it. Again, that is new this year, so I don't know the percent that will terminate using that clause. I know as a seller, I like to take it or leave it so that you don't feel like somebody's going to beat you up during the inspection period or start trying to take money back that they offered on the contract.
Regretting what they paid and trying to get it out during that. But, it does give us a really concise, if their inspection period is 7 days or 10 days or whatever that looks like, that they're going to take it or leave it. So there's really no risk. Like I said, as the buyer, you make the best offer that you can, agree to be the backup. If they walk away at any point before you give written notification, then it's yours. So, I mean, absolutely. And if you can still continue to look and you find something you like better or you feel like is a better fit, all your agent has to do is notify us that in writing and you're out. So it really is a good place to be as far as a buyer's concerned.
So other than inventory, I know I've had a lot of question about interest rates so far this week.
It was
Jack,
pretty.
have we got Angel on the line?
Yeah,
Angel is. Yeah. Angel, how are you doing today?
Good. Just a little raspy with the trees blooming and, all that going on.
I fought that for 3 weeks.
We understand. We have the allergy tree at work. We know when it starts blooming, we're all going to be miserable for about a week.
So where are we at on interest rates right now?
Well, a little bit of good news. We've been staying pretty steady for the last couple of weeks. So, of course, depending upon credit score and loan amount and all those factors, the average right now is between 4.7 and 4.9. So upper fours in the 30-year fixed loan program. We still anticipate some increases, which we anticipate that maybe by the end of April, sometime in May. That's always who knows, on the fence right now, but they're still talking about, several increases throughout the year. Now is a good time, as you guys have been saying.
Well, and that sounds a little better than what you're hearing on the news, because I know that the news, you're hearing them say that the interest rates are hovering around 5%. So 4.7 is a very big difference on your payment versus 5%.
Absolutely.
So it is a little bit better. Now, I know that on this last hike that the Fed's only raised 1/4 of a point, and interest rates did go up a lot more than that. So in your industry, and I know you don't have a crystal ball, but what are you hearing as far as when the Feds hike again? Do you think we're going to see that kind of rate again? Or do you think that is just rates have gone up more based on anticipation?
Well, we saw it in starting in the end of February, and the increase before the Fed actually increased it. So I do think that with anticipation that lenders go ahead and start increasing those rates before it actually happens. But supposedly the next Fed increase, quarter increase is supposed to be in May. But we could see, by the end of April, with that anticipation, these lenders going ahead and start increasing slightly before that happens. Based upon, as we talked about before, what we're kind of seeing, and and this is just my opinion, it may not happen, but I have a feeling based upon all the information that I've read that we could be seeing by the end of the year somewhere between, 5 to maybe 7% interest rate by the end of the year if the Fed continues to do what they say they're going to do.
So overall interest rates somewhere between 5 and 7%, not an increase of 5 to 7%. So just to be clear.
No.
Yes, that would be
correct.
Drastic.
So again, in at 5%, that's not going to be a whole lot different than where we're at right now. And I know 7% sounds like a lot, but I know when I got back and when I first got into real estate back in 1999, that was a very normal interest rate. Again, it's just that a lot of people that are the younger generations are not used to seeing it because we've had these almost nothing interest rates for a very long time now. So
20 years.
I have told the story that Cindi and I jumped up and down in the hallway of our brokerage, 17 years ago when interest rates got to 6% because we were so excited.
I can remember when 6.5%, because I bought a house then, and 6.5% was wonderful interest rate.
People knocking the door down to buy at 6%. I think it was 10, close to 10 when I first started with Cindi. So crazy to think that we think that's a bad interest rate.
And I know you don't have a crystal ball, but you have been doing this for a very long time. So,
and I think so far you've been pretty spot on with our guesstimations, so to speak. And I know I say it over and over and over again, but it's not going to get better. You need to, if you're thinking about it, do it.
Okay. I think we got to take a break, but don't go anywhere, Angel, because I'd come back. I'd like to talk about what's going on in your industry.
All right, guys, we're going to step away and take a quick break. When we come back on Real Estate Today with Cindi Jody, we want to talk more with Angel Sherlin from CMG Mortgage. And we're actually going to get into some projects that you can do, see what your cost is going to be versus what you want to get back out of it. This is Real Estate Today with Cindi and Jody.
WGOW. Have your say here.
It's your patriotic right and duty.
Talk Radio 102.3, WGOW FM.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There is a tremendous price war in the term life industry. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, a man aged 45, non-smoker, can get $1 million of coverage for $75 per month, level rate for 10 years. Or a man aged 50, non-smoker, can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of $110, level rate for 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rate for 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Term Busters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote. 1-800-908-7636. You're probably paying more than you should. Call 1-800-908-7636. Remember, number, 1-800-908-7636. Sample rate quotes based on preferred non-smoker rate class. Exam required to qualify.
K's into cash during baseball season with FanDuel Sportsbook. Big hits, big wins. Right now, new customers can step up to the plate, if you will, with a risk-free first bet up to $1,000. You just sign up, place your first bet, and FanDuel will refund you up to $1,000 back in site credit if you do not win. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. See for yourself why I use FanDuel Sportsbook. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app, sign up using the promo code Kevin, and get started with your risk-free bet up to $1,000. That is promo code Kevin when you download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You have to be 21 or older and present in Tennessee to bet. The first online real money wager only. A $10 first deposit is required. The bonus is issued as non-withdrawable site credit. Expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. And if you have a gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
You run a small business, but who's running your HR? Do you have an HR manager? When's the last time you had an HR audit? Do your employees take workplace safety training? My last question to you is this. What are you waiting for? One complaint against your company can turn your world upside down. I'm Alan Jones, and I created Bambi specifically for small business. All so you can put your HR on autopilot. With Bambi's HR Autopilot, you'll automate the most important HR practices, like HR policies, workplace training, and employee feedback. And you'll get a dedicated HR manager not for $80,000 a year, but yes, for $99 a month. We're here to help you navigate the most complex parts of your HR, available by phone, email, and real-time chat. And here's what I'm the most proud of. Bambi customers are 4 times less likely to have a claim filed against them, which is why Bambi has received thousands of 5-star reviews. You run your business. Let Bambi run your HR.
Go to Bambi.com/info today for your free HR audit. Spelled BAMBEE.com/info. Bambi.com/info.
Talk Radio 102.3.
You can't find the words to say all the things.
Welcome back to Real Estate Today with Cindi and Jody on Talk Radio 102.3. Guys, get your real estate questions answered on the air. Call or text 267-1023. We're also answering questions through the live video on the Richardson Group Facebook page this morning. And we are still joined with Angel Sherlin from CMG Mortgage. Angel, thanks for sticking with us through the break.
Angel, are you there?
I'm sorry, I was on mute.
Angel's the real star here, let's be honest.
I know there's been a pretty big announcement on credit scores. Do you want to go over that?
Yeah, I do. This is so exciting. We have been talking about this for years and been lobbying for it with national mortgage bankers for a long time, too. And we have finally, CFPB has finally listened. So it's in regards to medical debt. So as of July of this year, they have, all 3 credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, has agreed to remove any paid medical debts from consumers' credit reports. And I know that doesn't sound like a big deal. But
no, that's a huge deal.
Yeah, for us, this is huge because what happens is when you have a medical collection and you may pay it off, they do not remove that for your credit report. So it actually stays on the mortgage credit report for about 12 years.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't affect you for 12 years, but it affects you in a short-term period. So that means your credit scores are lower. So they're going to be taking that off in July. And then
and just to be clear, that is if they have paid the medical debt. So they do have to, you do need to negotiate and pay the debt, and then it will be removed, correct?
Right. That's correct.
So if you know that you have some medical debt on your credit report, now is the time that you probably want to be reaching out and trying to negotiate those, and they will negotiate them. And go ahead and get them paid off so that when this does go into effect, you'll be able to, it will make a pretty big difference on your credit score.
And it's never a bad idea to contact your mortgage lender. Medical debt especially will sneak up on you. If, you know, a lot of people, if you've ever had anything catastrophic medically happen to you, I mean, I know I have. Every time you have anything done, you have 9 providers that you have to pay. So you think that you've paid everything and you have a $100 bill to a pathology lab that hangs around and you didn't even know. So really good time, like we always talk about, talk to a lender on the front end so you know what you've got. And this is big. If there's something there that needs to be handled, you can do that for sure.
Okay. And then, Angel, we've got somebody asking on the Facebook, do you have any products for Canadian buying property in the U.S.?
Are they not? So they're not, I'm assuming they're not U.S.
If you'll jump on the Facebook Live and take a look at that so that you can talk to that person and let them know, that'd be great.
Yeah, we will get Angel in touch with you, sir, to answer those questions directly. And if you want to speak with us, feel free to send us a direct message and we'll reply back to that. Absolutely. So we don't know the answer exactly, but we're going to get it for you and we'll get a response to you.
Yeah. And Angel, just so that they'll know, how can they reach out to you?
423-421-7900.
And what is your website? We were just talking about that during break.
Yeah. It's A Sherlin, so it's ASHERLIN.cmgfi.com.
Okay. And is there just a direct web page for CMG?
That goes directly to my website.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, and awesome. Your number is
423-421-7900.
Perfect. And then one other thing that we were talking about off break is if somebody has not refied over the last couple of years, when is a good time? When should they think about it if they do have a higher rate? How much do rates have to come down in order to make it beneficial to...
Yeah, so the rule of thumb is about 1.5 points. And that's dependent upon your loan amount. So if you're, in the higher bracket over the conforming limit of 641 loan amount, about a 0.75 to a point. But the typical rule of thumb is about 1.5 points.
And then you also want to take into consideration how long you plan on being in a house. So if you know you're only going to be there for a couple of years, you're probably not going to save enough to recoup the closing costs. But if you know you're going to be there long term, then it is a good time to think about refinancing, to pull some of your equity out, because while the market is still very healthy, values are high enough that it might make it beneficial, which leads us to the next thing we were going to talk about. Jack, I'll let you.
All right, Angel, thanks so much for being with us this morning. We're going to try and bring you back on next week, too, if we have any other changes. Thanks so much, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Angel with CMG Mortgage. She would love to answer any of your questions to get you pre-qualified and get you ready to buy that home or refinance, whatever you need to get done. Thanks so much, Angel.
Thank you.
And I will say this too, just kind of on that note, if you're thinking about selling, if selling is something that is on your radar at all, call us before you make any big financial decisions. Don't go get a second mortgage. Don't refinance right this moment. We'll get you in touch with a lender if you don't have somebody that you're working with already, but understand how that's going to affect resale, pricing, payoffs, all those sort of things. So, especially back 12 or 15 years ago when the market was a little different than it is now, we'd get a lot of people that had a second mortgage that,
Well, and if you do take a second mortgage out, your home is your largest investment, and that is your nest egg. That's your retirement right there. So take the money and actually put it back into your house. So with that, we were actually talking about cost recovery for remodeling projects.
And not everything is a moneymaker.
Correct. There's also a joy factor to it too.
Yeah, we found this article that talks about the 10 projects that are worth your time and money, and then the projects that just make you smile. And like we talked about pools, you're not going to get the return on the investment for what you put into it. But if it brings your family joy and it's what you've always wanted, it's going to help with resale. You're just not going to get back what you put in it.
When you're looking at things on the inside of the house, the interior, so hardwood floor refinishing came in as the number one item for cost recovery. You actually can recover 147% of the cost to redo your hardwood floors.
And we were shocked with that number. I mean, if you told me what was the highest return on your investment, it would not be hardwood
And then
flooring.
On the Joy score, which is a score of 1 to 10, refinishing the hardwood floors, I actually gave a 10. So,
well, I mean, if you
I
clean
can
the
see
hardwood
that.
floors, you understand when they need to be refinished, it drives you insane.
And as much as I love hardwood floors, they are not as durable as some of the other products. So
I know you had a doozy a few years ago. What was it with cleaning? Didn't somebody put the wrong? That was fun. And then we had to like scrape off the you know. Yeah. So once you've experienced that, having
or even at our office, at which the company did a fabulous job on restoring the 1940s hardwood. I am now, it's been a couple of years now, and we're starting to see in the high traffic areas that we probably need to add another coat of polyurethane and restain them. So hardwood's not the most durable. But then new wood floors actually came in as the second item on the cost recovery at 118%.
Now, I believe that. If you've ever lived in a house with old carpet and you replace the flooring, it's the best feeling in the world to walk into that.
Well, and that's an old thing to where when you see the first two things on there, the traditional 2 3/4 hardwood floors, and then going to a hardwood style floor. Those are the two most popular things you can find out there right now. And there's a lot to be said because a lot of people say, I would love to have original hardwood floors. So that makes sense for the first one. Even for the second one, it's just upgrading to something new.
And flooring is a big trend. It changes a lot. So if you do have a house that has actual solid hardwood, that's an easy, I mean, in the scheme of things, it's you sand it down, refinish it. It's an undertaking.
It's messy, but it's beautiful when it's done.
And you can change the entire look of your house if you get rid of cherry finish on a floor and make it something more.
Yeah, that is a style that's on the way out. The last several years, people have done very, very dark hardwood floors. We all now know that dark hardwood floors show everything.
Horrible to clean. Horrible. So
now the next, number 3, and this one surprised me, insulation upgrade. You actually bring back 100% of your money. So not one of those pretty factors like getting to redo your hardwood floors, but that one kind of shocked me.
But I think that's another one where you don't realize you need it until you need it, and what a difference that makes on your utilities and comfort and all those things.
Now, toward the bottom of the list, but still, you know, at least getting some of it back, adding in a new bathroom. They say that you can recoup 63% of the cost to add a new bathroom. But on the Joy, it actually brings a score of 10 on the Joy. But so I can understand that. I could see adding a new bathroom bringing a Joy of 10.
Yeah, and I think especially, you know, that's kind of twofold, the way it looks, but also utility factor, where if you've got a bathroom with a small vanity and a single bowl sink, if all of a sudden you have lots of room and separate sinks, that's a big upgrade.
All right, guys, we're going to step away and take another quick break. When we come back on Real Estate Today with Cindi and Jody, we're going to talk more about recouping some of the costs on your renovations and what's going to give you more happiness over value. This is Real Estate Today with Cindi and Jody on Talk Radio 102.3.
The words will make you out and out and spend the day your way. Call it morning, driving through the sun and in and out the valley.
Your chance to win $100 every hour starting at 8 a.m. on WGOW. Text the national keyword to 95819. 10 winners each day. The grand prize, $25,000. What a payday. The 25K payday on WGOW Radio.
Don't do it.
Thinking about spending a few weekends staining a deck? Don't do it. Painter Ready does that. What about creating a war zone so you can update the great room area? Don't do it. Painter Ready does that. Thinking about climbing up a ladder to paint the outside trim? Don't do it. Painter Ready does that. Ken Morris here with Painter Ready. And if you really want to do it on your own, be safe and Godspeed. But otherwise, call us. 648-4408. That's 648-4408 or online at paintchattanooga.com. Hello, Ken Morris here, owner of Painter Ready. Far too often, we get calls from homeowners who are halfway through a job with a painter who decided they didn't want to finish or even answer the phone. We hate it. Yes, we love saving a project, but that also means they are paying twice for the work, which can be backbreaking. The good news with us? Well, you don't have to pay a dime until the work is finished and you're satisfied. Call us first. 648-4408. That's 648-4408 or online at paintchat.com.
Hey friends, it's time for Don Ledford's annual pre-owned springtime sales event. Don Ledford has over 175 quality pre-owned vehicles available right now. Over 130 of them are SUVs and trucks, convertibles, vans, coupes, sedans, domestics, imports. Come to Don Ledford first, because Don Ledford probably has it. Visit Don Ledford Automotive on North Lee Highway in Cleveland, donledford.com, home of Red Tag Savings, where they say yes to quality pre-owned vehicles.
Tossed trash is bad. TDOT spends $19 million a year picking it up. That's because there are over 100 million pieces of it on our beautiful Tennessee roadways. Talking Trash is great because it's the show that's going to end littering in Tennessee. We need everyone to join the Nobody Trashes Tennessee movement. Conveniently located at NobodyTrashesTennessee.com. And watch my show, Talking Trash, the show featuring actual talking trash.
Brought to you by the Tennessee Department of Transportation, the Tennessee Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
Okay, folks, you've heard me talk about how we love entertaining and relaxing on the decks and pool at our house, but there's maintenance that has to be done. We spend lots of time and money cleaning and pressure washing the wood and concrete, then sealing all of it, only to have to do the whole process over again in just a few years. There's got to be a better solution. That's what my friend Steve Nelson and his team over at Everseal thought too. Everseal provides a permanent solution for sealing your exterior wood and concrete at a price that you can actually afford, preventing further deterioration for the next 30 to 50 years. It works on brand new construction just as well as old. And you get a 25-year manufacturer-backed guarantee that's transferable, even if you sell the house. Add value to your home and eliminate maintenance with Everseal. On-site estimates are always free, so call Everseal today to schedule yours at 844-EVER-USA. That's 844-EVER-USA or 844-383-7872. Or find their website at ever-seal.com or 844-383-7872 for Everseal.
Talk Radio 102.3.
Along the lake, mountains come out of the sky and they stand there.
Welcome back to Real Estate Today with Cindi and Jody on Talk Radio 102.3. So as we left out, we were talking about what can you make your money back on some home improvements. So what are some other things that they were showing in the article that are really good, cost-effective ways that can actually bring you some great joy?
Yeah, so we touched on bathrooms. Kitchens, I think the cost return on investment was 75%.
67 on kitchen. Bathrooms was 75. Kitchens was 67. So it's not going to bring back as much. But of course, that's also, it says renovations. So I don't have what they were putting, how much they put into the kitchen versus how much it will bring back, because that is all going to be determined too on how you renovate it. Because there's a very big difference. People tell me that they completely remodeled their kitchen.
And they painted cabinets.
Right. I always ask, tell me about your cabinets, because painting cabinets is very different than replacing cabinets. And don't get me wrong, a lot of times you can just paint the cabinets, and that's a very cost-effective way. And you can get several more years out of your cabinets. You can also just replace the doors and keep the original cabinets themselves, which, and depending on the age of them, a lot of cabinets were real hardwood. So it's very beneficial just to replace the doors, because to get real wood cabinets now is extremely expensive.
I was going to say a lot of quote unquote dated kitchens have really high quality materials.
Right. But if you don't like the style of the door, because sometimes depending on the age of the home, you can look at a cabinet door and know exactly when those were installed at a house. But if you have a raised panel that's either square or even has the arch at the top, that's still in enough that you can paint them and make them look very good.
Yeah, and then that cost. And I know you have probably heard, I know I have heard, you always hear, kitchen and bath, you get your money back. You get your money back. It's like anything else. If you're doing things to your home for your joy, for what brings you joy, do whatever you want. Go as crazy as you want, but you're probably not going to get all of that investment back. For example, I'm selling a home for a seller who is a professional chef. So we have super, super high-end kitchen appliances and a range with 10 burners and down
and
dry
if I were your
grill.
buyer, that would be a waste of money, because I'm probably not going to turn
Cindy's
that range
keeping
on.
sweaters in her in her oven. So it depends on the buyer, and if someone values it as much as you do, maybe. but you don't need to go into that assuming that you're going to get every penny back.
Right.
And I think that brings us back
But again,
to what brings you joy.
Right. There's that joy factor.
Yeah.
So some things you're going to want to spend money on that are not going to bring it back dollar per dollar or even 50% of it. But if it brings you joy, then there's things you're going to do for yourself.
And if you're renovating to sell, if the
That's very
purpose
different.
is to get ready to sell, call us. Call somebody. Call your realtor. Call a stager. Call us. We're happy to help. Because where your money goes matters as far as what brings not only the return that you put into it, but also that buyer wow factor. And that's kind of the next thing we were going to talk about. What do buyers care about?
Kitchens and baths and living rooms. Actually, living areas ranked number 1 on the report put out by the National Association of Realtors, with kitchens and bath coming in below that. But there's a lot of things that you can do to these areas that don't take a lot of money.
And first impressions. I mean, when you walk into the house, how does it feel? What can you do?
Yeah, but there's still a lot of things that you can do that don't cost a lot of money, like just changing out the hardware in your kitchens and baths. So depending on if you still have gold and like that shiny gold, gold is back, but it's more of a brushed gold, a very dull gold. If you have that shiny gold, you can replace fixtures, knobs, and in the bathrooms, you can replace your plate glass mirror with some framed mirrors. That's a very easy way to do some upgrades without spending a whole lot of money.
We actually, about a week and a half ago, did a family member's house. All of the cabinet pulls, the door hinges, doorknobs, light fixtures were all shiny brass. So just updating that, bathroom faucets, light fixtures in the bathroom, I think a couple $1,000. Literally the entire house redone. And it looks like a completely different house just from doing that, taking away all the gold and replacing it. She went with oil rubbed bronze, kind of a dark, but complete difference for a fairly small investment. So
I replaced I had a light fixture, one of those old ones that looks like Hollywood. It's got the 5 lights in it, the light bulbs.
Yes.
I replaced, and you can actually order. Yes, I ordered a linen shade that mount to it, so you didn't see the bulbs, and it turned out wonderful.
Yeah, and such a difference.
Oh, yeah, it absolutely made a huge difference.
I wouldn't recommend it, but we took down wallpaper in a bathroom. Lord help us, if you put wallpaper on something, just make sure it's installed so that when you don't like it, you can get it out.
Put it up with the intentions that you're going to take it down.
Oh my, but huge difference, a weekend's worth of work, every fixture, every door pull, every handle, a couple $1,000, completely different house. So, and that was a joy thing. She hated the shiny brass, but if and when she ever decides to sell it, huge upgrade for a very small cost. So kitchens, bathrooms, what's your first impression? Do you have outdated fixtures? Sometimes it's something as simple as you have a giant gaudy light fixture that's very, very dated, and that's the first thing that somebody sees. If you have a foyer, very common to have old, like sheet glass with brass. I mean, that seems overwhelming, but for a few $100s.
And if it is brass, I've seen a lot of people that take them down and get the paint that's made for them. And amazing if you paint one of those with like a black or something, they turn out really,
you
really
have
good.
To be careful with like door handles and things that get a lot of usage.
Yeah, no, don't paint those.
We have spray painted the heck out of some light fixtures and even like your shutters outside or vinyl.
And take off the shades, the globes that click down over the light bulbs.
Yeah.
Now it's just a little more fashionable just to leave the exposed bulb and get the
and you'd be surprised what even just, a coat of paint and taking the colored linen shades. We were talking yesterday about how, it's funny. It's almost like fashion trends. You can tell when you go in a house, can you not, Jack, exactly kind of the era. When was it built? What are we looking at when you've got?
Oh, yeah. First thing I look at is what are the color of the toilets and the sinks and the tubs in a house. I can normally date by if it's avocado, flamingo, or a burnt sienna.
Harvest gold,
built.
And then you go into the shiny brass and wallpaper, and then you get into, what were we calling it last week? the Tuscan style.
Yeah,
the early 2000s.
And that is a whole lot of what people are remodeling right now.
That's what's going now.
Yeah, so in the early 2000s, when everybody was doing the reds, the golds, then I think from there we went into some oranges,
jewel tones, and cherry cabinets and floors. That's kind of what's
that's what we're seeing people taking out and putting in. Well, what is neutral for us today, which is whites and grays. So people 10 years from now may laugh about how dated that is.
This era, as they're putting shiny brass in their house again, and telling us how crazy they are. So, but we are seeing, like Cindi said, some coppery, gold mixed metals is coming back, where you can have different things in the same room, and that's acceptable. Which makes it easy when you are going through a renovation. That is still considered acceptable. But just a coat of paint, and changing cabinet pulls will literally make a room look completely different. So if you're thinking about selling, the way you need to approach it is different than if you just want to do it for your joy. But if you're getting ready to potentially sell, call somebody before you sink a lot of money.
Because then some of the things too, like they said, adding a new primary bedroom suite, you're only going to recoup 56% of the cost, which again, that's on average. So that's not everybody. Not everybody's going to get 56%. It's all going to depend on your area too. You have to be very careful not to overdevelop for your subdivision too. If you are already the best one in the subdivision, the most expensive one in the subdivision, adding more to it is not going to help you.
And we're still in a market where you don't have to do crazy things. Now, if there are multiple listings on the same street, then yeah, maybe consider updating the master if that's something, or the owner suite if that's something that is important or you feel like is lacking in your property. But you don't have to go in and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to be marketable. So again, just let us help you figure out the best way to recoup.
But even if you're not putting it on the market and you're just doing it for your joy, just know that they're not going to bring the money back dollar per dollar. And I know one of the things on here was finishing basements too, and that gets really tricky because basement square footage doesn't bring as much on an appraisal as everything that's above the ground.
That's a joy that, coming from someone with 2 teenage boys.
Yes.
When my boys were home and we lived in a home, when my oldest was still here, who's away at college, having a finished basement is a huge benefit, or a bonus room or some area. But that's a joy thing. I mean, that's a daily use
on here
for me.
It says that you'll recover 86% of the cost. Again, that's going to depend on what you do.
Yeah.
What type of ceilings? Are you doing a drop ceiling? Are you doing sheetrock? What kind of flooring are you going to put in it? Because are you going to use something that's the same quality as the upstairs? Or are you going to go in with carpet? If you go in there and you add a kitchenette and you're doing some plumbing, adding full bath and things, you may not recover as much, but again, that's going to add to the joy factor.
And do you have a pool? Do you live on the water? Do you do a lot of that? Makes that basement very, very functional if that's the room that you have to walk in and out of. So you're going to finish it differently. And for me, in that season of life, having an extra space, in one house it was a basement, in another house it was a bonus room. That was really a necessity for my stage of life. So it's something that, whether or not I had gotten my entire investment back, it brought me joy. It was useful for me. But like Cindi said, when we talk about basement square footage, when you sell a home and it's appraised, no matter how nicely that basement is finished, it's still considered below grade square footage. So it's, on an appraisal at least, it's not worth as much as the area that they call above grade.
Now, I found it interesting that they put attic conversion to living area was a 75% return, whereas a basement was showing 86% return. So
I almost feel like that would be
I would almost think opposite. Maybe because there's so many knee walls and things that you're going to get into up in the attic. Knee walls being the walls that slant down.
If we're truly talking about attic space that you're finishing, I know very few houses that have access to the attic space.
Right.
So then you're talking about putting a staircase in.
Right. If you're putting a staircase in, that gets into some big dollars where you probably already have access to your basement, a set of staircase.
Yeah. So that's, what are you getting per square foot too? What's your actual square footage size of an attic space versus a basement?
Area. Yeah.
But a lot of the historic district, I mean, it does bring back, it's going to make your home a lot more sellable, and it's definitely going to bring you joy because you can pick up a whole lot of square foot in the attic space.
All right, guys, we're going to step away and take our last break for the morning. When we come back, we're going to finish up. We may actually get into a little bit of what you're looking at on the last week of tax season. This is Real Estate Today with Cindi and Jody on Talk Radio 102.3.
WGOW. Delivering the fact.
The source I can trust.
Talk Radio 102.3. WGOW FM.
Join us every Saturday for Family Financial Radio with Ron and Christy Adams. For more information or to schedule a consultation, visit onefamilyfinancial.com and check out Family Financial Radio, Saturdays at noon on Talk Radio 102.3.
Organize your home with RSW Chattanooga. RSW Chattanooga offers organized living systems for your closets, pantry, or even the garage. Ask how you can save up to $500. Visit rswchattanooga.com to schedule a design consultation.
The market roller coaster is back. Find out what it means for your retirement on Retirement Straight Talk with Morgan Hill, Sunday at 10, right here on the Talk Monster.
In retirement, it's all about income. To learn how to create sustainable retirement income in your portfolio, join Nathan Cox and Lindsay Cotter for Retirement Income Solutions, Sunday mornings at 8 on Talk Radio 102.3 FM.
Terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. Terms and conditions apply. Visit ISSA online for details.
Hey, how'd you like to get paid to work out? Yes, I said get paid to work out. Now you can with ISSA, the global leader in personal fitness certification. If you're interested in a money-making career in fitness as a personal trainer, now is your time because ISSA is guaranteeing you will get a job. That's right. There's a huge demand for certified personal trainers right now. So once you get ISSA certified, they guarantee you will get a job. Just text FORM to 323232 now to get started for free. You do everything at your own pace and 100% online. Live your life on your terms. Get certified and train like you want, full-time, at a gym, at home, or as a side hustle. Whatever works for you. Don't wait another day to start your career in fitness. Get certified and start making money fast, guaranteed. Just text FORM to 323232 right now to get started with your ISSA certification for free. Text the word FORM to 323232.
When it comes to all your plumbing needs, I trust Southeast Total Service to get your household back to normal fast. Their revolutionary blue light technology will fix problems from inside the pipes instead of digging up your yard or driveway, saving you a ton of money on repairs. So for all your residential and commercial plumbing needs, I'm talking drains, sewer, clogs, water heaters, and toilets, call 499-2911 or Google Southeast Total Service, everything plumbing.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Get Upside Gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Get Upside app?
Yes, up to 25 cents a gallon cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make $200 to $300 this year.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Get Upside app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code TIME for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your first fill up. You can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code TIME for up to 50 cents a gallon cash back on your first tank. That's code TIME.
Bad decisions limit future options. Make enough bad decisions, and you'll destroy your life. Listen to The Flot Line with your host, Rick Hughes, right here every Sunday morning at 8:30. The Flot Line describes a main line of resistance in your soul built on God's Word. Join us every Sunday for 30 minutes of inspiration, motivation, and education, all without manipulation. That's The Flot Line with Rick Hughes, heard here on the Talk Monster every Sunday morning at 8:30.
Talk Radio 102.3 FM, The Talk Monster.
Welcome back to Real Estate Today with Cindi and Jody on Talk Radio 102.3. If you missed part of this morning's show, watch the replay on the Richardson Group Facebook page or our YouTube channel. If you have a real estate question you need an answer while we are not on the air, call our office, 790-7979. So, you have 1 week and 1 day to file your taxes. They are due Monday the 19th. And if you own a home, I haven't filed mine either. We'll be racing next week to get that done. So if you own a home and you are crunching to get things done, we're not tax professionals.
Yeah, let's disclose that right up front. We are not
realtors.
We know enough to be dangerous.
They're realtors, and I'm a small town bird lawyer. So,
and it changes. It constantly changes on what is deductible and what's not. So right now, on your yearly deductions, you can take your mortgage interest. So that's a big one for most people. So not your entire payment, just your interest.
Yeah.
And then if you do refinance or take out a second mortgage, your home equity line, which would be a second mortgage, is tax deductible. So, and we can get more into that next week when we talk about investments, but that's an excellent way to work yourself into investments is with your home equity line, because again, that's tax deductible money that's going to help you as you're rehabbing. If you paid discount points on your closing cost, that is tax deductible right now.
And we talked about that a little bit with Angel before, but essentially buying your interest rate down to make your payment lower. But the double side benefit of that is then you can deduct that you paid. So
your property taxes, those are tax deductible up to $10,000 for a married couple. So if your taxes are more than that, I'm sorry.
Something to keep in mind about that too, though, is if you have a mortgage, your taxes and insurance are escrowed into that mortgage payment.
But you can still deduct them.
You can, but you want to make sure that you get an accurate number. So make sure you're getting an accurate portrayal. You know, typically your mortgage company sends you documentation, but if you have closed a house with us anytime in the past, I had somebody yesterday, feel free to reach out to us and we're happy to give you a copy of your settlement statement, anything that you might need to file.
Yeah, if you've bought a home this year, yes, you definitely want a copy of your settlement statement as you go to your accountant.
Bought or sold. You want a copy of that. It just gives you all the information right there in a really concise place.
If you have necessary home improvements, you can actually deduct those. Now, you do need to look up the definition of necessary because it's not replacing your central heat and air unit is not necessary. So that's not something you can take off your yearly deduction.
Feels necessary, but yes, according to the IRS.
Yeah. That might be something you can take off of the capital gains, but not your yearly necessary. Just looking at the summary I have is probably going to be something like if you're converting your home to handicap accessible, you've got to widen the doors.
Someone gets injured, needs to be in a wheelchair for any period
bars,
of time.
Things like that. That's going to become tax deductible. If you have a home office and you are writing off part of your home office, you can actually deduct part of that.
We don't have a ton of time, but let's talk really quick about capital gains. I know next week we're going to talk about investment property. Just the real quick, what does that mean?
Capital gains. So if you sold your home this year and you have lived in your home at least 2 out of the last 5 years, then you could be exempt from capital gains. And that's up to $500,000 for a married couple and $250,000 per single person. So you do get a tax exempt sale as long as it was your primary. Every 2 years.
So if you're close to 2 years, maybe worth the wait. So, absolutely.
Well, guys, thanks so much for listening. Like we said, we're going to be talking about investing in investment properties next week. Hope you guys have a great week and tune in next week, 9 o'clock. And we may be able to get you set up with your first investment property. Guys, this has been Real Estate Today with Cindi and Jody on Talk Radio 102.3.
Make yourself at my home, tell me where